My name is Jason Hart. I'm co-founder of Cube Designer Research, and we really strive to make architecture that is humane, that connects with people, because at its core, architecture is really about people. I grew up in Florida and South Carolina, worked in my father's plant nursery growing up, and exposed to a lot of rural areas, barns and greenhouses, and these type of structures that are really built out of utility, things of the land, and kind of tell stories from the people that inhabited them. And those are some of the things that begin to influence our architecture. You know, a lot of clients come to us with a set of images that they are inspired by, but they really are not quite sure how it applies to their situation or their budget, or how they live or their building site. And you know, these are the kind of things that we help them with. We start with people. We get to know how people live and operate in their daily routines. We of course want to know the building site, where the sun rises, how the wind blows, and when the rain comes. But in materials and wood and brick and steel, you know, these are all kind of parts and pieces and the tools of the architect that we have to consider in making a space that is really humane, that reflects how people can live and connect with the land. When we start projects, we really interview our clients, and we want to know who they are, what they do, what are the first, second, and third things they do when they enter the home. Do they entertain a lot? Do they read a lot? Do they watch television? Do they not own a television? You know, and then we look at the building site, where it's located. We look at where the neighbors are. Sometimes they'll even go into a neighbor's home to see how they are viewing the building site next door. So we can really craft ideas and views and privacy, and really work the architecture in the daily routine of the family that is inhabiting it. Some people, or a lot of homes are created by kind of a plan book plan that someone might buy and sort of unknowingly kind of plop down on a property and let that situation shape the way that they live. We kind of work the other direction, where we kind of investigators, and we take all the information and really understand the client, the place, to craft something that works in a way that they is more natural to the way that they live. Clients come to us with different things. Some of them come with a whole series of images. Some of them come with rough floor plans they may have sketched themselves. And we really kind of operate in a very custom service, full design, and looking for something that really fits that person. And so when they come with these things, it's kind of part of our investigative research to really understand how they arrive there, what specifically they like about that. And you know, a client may say, well, I really just don't like metal. And so what I want to know then, what about metal is it that you don't like so much, that you have an association with? Because metal comes in many different forms, has many different qualities. So we really try to talk about the qualities of architecture, because that has to do with texture, light, feel, and touch, and it can be cold, it can be warm. There are many different ways to craft the elements of architecture, but we have to consider them within the whole realm of the project, and making a coherent space, a coherent lifestyle. Our design process is very client dependent. So we actually start with many ideas. We'll do many options, many different kind of layouts to explore different scenarios on the site and with the client and how they live. And over a series of meetings, we hone a direction and we come to a singular scheme that we then kind of develop. It's almost like a reverse funnel. We sort of start looking at many things, we come to the central core idea that have been worked out, and then we work to really develop it and refine it. And that process can be anywhere from a few months to half a year for that to really play out. We really believe in being very thorough in the design, and that really saves everybody later on the construction site and helps reduce risks, both in budget and in schedule later. When we're thinking about the layout of a home, it's beyond just function and how many bedrooms and how many baths, but it has to do with how does that family live and operate. Is the kids' area and bathroom in a situation where the parents can pass by occasionally during the day and have a chance interaction? Or are the quarters separated such that they only see their family member when they're emerged for dinner? There are a lot of things in homes that we don't often think about, but they really do impact the way families operate and socially communicate. I think part of making great architecture is learning how to look and listen, both to our clients and both to the building site. We often will even go into a client's home to see how they live. Is their desk cluttered or is it very organized? Is the floor worn? Is the handle loose? We leave a lot of clues to how we operate and even our personalities in the physical way that we operate and leave things. And these little clues come into our design mind, and they play into how we really consider our architecture. In that investigative process with our clients, right up front, we want to talk about costs and what they can reasonably afford to spend on a project, because it's very expensive and it's a responsibility that we take very seriously. And our clients have real budgets, and they range from a few thousand to over $1 million. And we don't believe you have to completely break the bank to make great architecture. We talk a lot about resource allocation, and so where are you going to put something that's kind of a highlight, maybe a very nice material, in the place that you're going to spend the most time and to get the most value out of it. And then in other areas, we might think about them a little bit differently. So there's many ways to balance cost throughout the process. Modern architecture in general does have a little bit of a higher cost because we have a lot of glass usually. People want kind of no detail, no ornamentation, no moldings and things in the architecture. And these things sound like they should actually cost less, but they actually cost more and take more coordination, higher level of coordination, a higher level of skill to really pull off, because you're taking what really is the rough surface and making it look finished. A lot of clients talk about they want X number of bedrooms and bathrooms and square footage. And the thing is, you can make a very small house feel very open, and it's just about how you proportion the spaces, where you place the window, where the view is, how high the window is. There's a little spatial trick when you kind of go from a small space into a larger space. That space will then actually feel even larger than it is. And there's all little tricks in the architect's toolbox that we use to manipulate these things and make architecture that's really connected, that feels proportionally correct and human in scale. I happen to teach. I've taught for 16 years off and on, and the best advice I can give to students is be tenacious. You have to have a level of persistence and be able to kind of adjust your strategy as you move through your career, and eyes on the prize. And I think there's also a great little book out there that not only students, but I think people in general should pick up, and that's called Why Architecture Matters by Pulitzer Prize winning writer Paul Goldberger. And it really gets into some great stuff.